Hello. I thought, well, Happy New Year to start with. I've had a really quite big break from social media over the holidays, which I think is a good thing to do. So I had a few things going out on autopilot. But I stepped back, which was important, I think, to take a break. I think that's what we can all benefit from doing, isn't it? But today I'm back because I thought it was about time I did a bit more Listen with Rachel. So I was doing this before the holidays, and what it is, so when I was little, there was a programme on the radio which was called Listen with Mother, and I thought it might be fun to read bits of my book to you as Listen with Rachel, so that you could get a little bit of a feel for the book. So I'm going to start reading again today from the book, and this time I've got specs on because I can't see otherwise, so hang on a moment. So this time we're going to be reading from part 3 of the book, which is all about crafting the next chapter of your dreams. And this is a section from the chapter Exploring Possibilities for Your Future. And it starts with a quote from Anais Nin. Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. I rather like that. But we've got to find that courage, haven't we, somewhere? So this is where it's. I'm going to sort of start. I'm going to jump into the chapter, and I'm going to talk a little bit about having a plan or not having a plan, and what we might do with whether or not we have a plan. Right? So hopefully you're on the way to getting any issues sorted by now, because we've already dealt with the messy midlife stuff in the previous chapters. You're building an arsenal of strategies and tools so you can capitalise on the strength that's innately yours, but which may have been hidden and overwhelmed by the necessities of day-to-day life. Now's the time to start thinking about what may be possible in your next chapter. As I've said, I believe the first half of our lives is actually just the rehearsal. I spent most of the first half on a metaphorical treadmill. I did what I thought I was supposed to do and really didn't question it that much. Being truly intentional and having a plan for my life was not something that occurred to me. I'm not sure why. I think perhaps I was just never encouraged to dream big. Maybe you were the same. There's a trajectory we seem to go on in the first half. We go to school, some of us go to college, we start work, we often find a life partner, some of us have children, children leave. Then what? Menopause also kicks in. We're suddenly very aware that ticking life clock is ticking. We may flounder around a bit and we think, what on earth am I supposed to do now? Most of us don't have a plan for the second half. Traditionally, there was education, work, maybe family, and then retirement. But life doesn't work like that anymore. Some of us may never be in a position to fully retire, and many of us simply don't want to. What are you hoping to do in terms of retirement? What can you do? As life expectancy increases, so do the number of years we potentially have available to fill, hopefully with more of a life we enjoy, whether or not we have the financial security we need. Those extra years aren't necessarily added on at the end of life, when we're no longer in our physical and intellectual prime either. Rather, those extra years come in midlife, as we extend the years when we're still potentially, physically and mentally as good as we can be. Along those lines, in the Middle Essence Manifesto, Barbara Waxman says, according to an article appearing in the medical journal The Lancet, more than half of all babies born in industrialised nations since 2000 can expect to live into triple digits. Blimey. Midlife doesn't begin until we're in our 40s, and with advances in medicine and our ever-increasing knowledge of healthy lifestyle habits, the life stage carries on well into our 60s. The traditional way of thinking that years are added to the tail end of our life and we're therefore older longer is no longer applicable. In my mid-50s, my life is very different from that of my own mother at this age. I'm not slowing down as women were and sometimes still are expected to do. I completely refute a recent research study that found our get up and go starts to decline at 54. Poppycock! That was last year for me. I'm not coasting towards retirement, whatever that might be. I actually feel like I'm just getting started. Those additional years have been added in the middle of my life rather than at the end. Yippee! So that's a little snippet from my book. So it's Magnificent Midlife, Transform Your Middle Years, Menopause and Beyond. And you can get it on my website, magnificentmidlife.com/book, where you can get the ebook or the audiobook, which is narrated by me in a rather more professional fashion than just me sitting on the sofa here reading it to you. But so that's all about whether or not we have a plan, and where the extra years in our life are going to be added, whether it's going to be at the end of our lives or actually in the middle of our lives, where we can really make the very most of it. So I don't know what you think of that, but thank you for hanging out. And this has been another edition of Listen with Rachel. Hello, Rory. It's nice to see you here. So I'm doing Listen with Rachel, like Listen with Mother. And that's what I've been doing. So there you go. I think that's it for today's instalment. So thank you very much. Oh, who's that? Hang on, let me get my glasses on again. Somebody says, love it. Thank you for reading it. Oh, Marianne, thank you very much. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Yeah, so I kind of do this regularly, and there's a few, if you look on the grid, you'll see other, editions of Listen with Rachel that I did before the holidays. And I'll carry on doing it because it's quite fun. I quite like reading out loud. It's nice, good fun. Oh, and finance for me. Oh, love this. I bought the book. It's great. Oh, bless you from me. Thank you. I'm so glad that you've enjoyed it. It's just brilliant. And so that's very exciting. Oh, how lovely. I must do this more often. It's very good for my ego. All right, I'll leave it there. But thank you so much for hanging out with me and for reading my book or listening to me reading my book. And you can get it at magnificentmidlife.com/book. All right, cheers then. Bye-bye now.